Hello, my name is Michael Glenn, and in this episode of the Dojo Show, we're studying the kata Ryote Gake. In this kata, our opponent uses a double grab or a double choke. We're going to turn this against him by hanging him off of his own arms. We're going to start off tonight with a kata called Ryote Gake, and we're going to use that to explore some of the themes from this year that I've been studying in Japan. So first we'll just do the kata, okay? Jesse, please. No, I'm doing the kata. No. Ryote Gake.
Is that a grab?
So the attack for this kata is a double lapel grab or a double choke. We'll just do the lapel grab, okay? So he's grabbing double lapel here, okay? So the first part is this way, second part this way, third part in here with this throw. It's up, down, still haven't grabbed, okay? And then this is underneath the elbow here. You see that little shot? Okay, here, okay, back the other way. You enter in here and you use your hip to do this throw, okay? Ryote Gake. So first I start with this cover here, okay? Elbows, here. This is hip, throw, okay? If you have the ukemi for it, it's good to take that kind of ukemi, sort of flip over there, okay? If you can. And try to let your feet land first instead of your back, right? But there's different ways to do this throw and different ways to take the ukemi. So in the basic form here, I'm going this way, and then I enter in with my hip, and I'm lifting to do that throw, okay? So that's that type of throw. Not everybody can take that kind of ukemi though. So if your partner can't take that ukemi, there's a different way to do it. So I come this way, here. I'm going to allow him some room to roll. Okay, so that's maybe a more easy ukemi for some people who can't do the bigger ukemi. So you give him some space to roll instead of the big hip throw. Okay, so it just So it just depends on your training partner. Everybody has different abilities with that ukemi, so you use your judgment on that. Okay. Look at this one's on top. This one's underneath. Okay, I haven't grabbed anything yet. Okay, that's important. The tendency will be to start to grab a hold, right? And that's like not what you want to do. So instead it's light like this. I want to have the ability to strike in that space freely. Okay, and I can't do that if I'm grabbing. So there's this here. Okay, same thing, still haven't grabbed. Right? Then I enter in like this. This is where I can grab on the elbow. Okay. Ryote Gake, the words of the name of the kata, Ryote means two-handed, and then Gake, it translates like it's hanging, like you're suspending something or hanging something. So it's the same kanji that's used like in a hanging scroll, right? So you're hanging the guy off of his two hands, if you want to think about it that way. Okay, and that can happen at different places in the kata, different moments. And so it's important to manipulate his spine and his balance in a manner that you can suspend him in the space. Okay, can I borrow you? So he's grabbing a hold. I start with this cover to begin with, okay? That's how this kata proceeds, okay? So from here, as I step and shift, you see what's happened to his balance, but also to the space here. Okay, there's a lot of space here that I can use to do all kinds of stuff. Okay, I created that space just in that one move. One more time, please. So there's this shift back here, okay? This next one, you see his balance, right? Like he's already falling here, yeah? Just in that little shift. So by the second shift, I pretty much already have his balance. That's important. Okay, one more time. So I'm starting with the cover. I do this shift, this one here, then this one I enter in. So I did that throw slowly so he could be safe, but it doesn't take any strength on my part. He's suspended in space. He's, it's that Gake word, he's being hung by his arms there. Yeah? You felt that, yeah? Okay, so see if you can, with each step, there's 3 of them. See, notice how your partner is in the space, okay? If they're still really grounded, you won't be able to throw them, okay? So make sure that each one is creating a situation for you where the space is open for you to throw them, okay? And ultimately, the way Soke does it is he throws the person with the kukan itself, with the space, okay? So we're going to try to head towards that tonight if we can. All right, grab a partner and try that. Starting here with this cover. Up. Yeah. So check that out, please.
Alt.
Right. And if you're really doing a combat version of this, you don't let him take ukemi, you put him on his head. Okay? So it's a head plant, and which could break the spine there. It's very dangerous. Okay? Go ahead, try some more. This Henka I learned from Oguri Sensei, and Oguri Sensei was, I think he has Menkyo in Takagi Yoshin Ryū, so he sometimes mutates kata into that form a little bit. James, can I borrow you? So in this one, you start off with this cover here, and then you switch to this grip underneath, okay? And I'm going to trade back over here and then down. Okay, very simple. One more time, please. So I start with this cover. This is like a Takagi Yoshin Ryū style grip here. Okay, I pivot on the elbow and then drop down. Okay, so everybody's struggling with this grip, all right? It's a Takagi Yoshin Ryū style. So in Takagi Yoshin Ryū, if you don't know, a lot of times we cover like this. Okay, normally in other Bujinkan situations you cover on top like this, right? But in Takagi Yoshin Ryū, there's this underneath style cover. So I'm coming across here to cover, and then this rotates as I turn. Okay, you see what that does to him, right? So it's across underneath here, and that rotates as I turn. Then I can bring it back that way. Look at that wrist there. It's pretty terrible. So here we got this Takagi Yoshin Ryū style grip. Okay, I pivot on his elbow. Okay, now I could go any direction from here, but I'm going to hook the elbow and bring it back this way. Here. Okay, I pivot on this elbow, bring him back that way. Here, there's a lot of controls that can happen. I'm grabbing underneath. This can be as I step, right? Like if we're still doing the stepping, and then I pivot. Okay, Jesse wanted to roll, but you see what the roll did to his wrist. Okay, it makes things a lot worse if he rolls. Okay, so you're grabbing across underneath to manipulate that arm, right? But try to do it as you step. Because if you do it standing still, he's going to punch you or something. All right? Go ahead. this grip sets up stuff here, right? But then when you pivot on this arm, you don't want to do it with muscle or with your hands. All you do, if you just relax, stay there, I'm just moving myself, okay? So I pivot in the space. I move myself. Oh, you're good now. Does that make sense? What sometimes happens here, there's a tendency to want to like really use this lock and push it away from you, or break their arm or something. And it's more important for you to use the space than use the lock. Okay, for so many reasons. One more. So I've set this up here. Okay, I'm going to pivot over to this other side. This other arm is still a threat. If he lets go, and he could clock me, right? Or he could draw a weapon or something. So I just pivot. And you see how that pivot protects me against his other hand. Okay? It can be, yeah. The wrist can break right there. For sure. But the pivot is the most important part. Just pivoting in the kukan there so that you're protected, you're safe. A few years ago, Hatsumi Sensei, one of the themes for the year was kaname, which is this idea of pivoting. It's like a pivot point in the space, right? And when you find the right pivot point, it's almost like finding a shield in the kukan, because you pivot to a space where you can't be hurt, okay, where you're safe. And that's very important to discover how to do that, okay? So here, and then I just pivot on Robert, okay? So I got that foot covered and this elbow. If I wanted to, I could use this lock here, but I'm not focused on that right now. I'm just pivoting. And right about the time he's thinking of pivoting as well, that's when I take it back this way, okay? So there's a moment there he may think about turning or pivoting to deal with you, and that's when the throw happens, okay? You guys understand? Yeah? See if you can get that. Try not to do it with your hands, but moving your feet, moving your body to the right position. Like I'm here. Feel how light that pivot is?
Yeah, it's very nice.
Yeah, it's really light. I'm not even focused on that. Yeah, it traps itself, you know. But I'm not focused on that. I'm pivoting lightly. I want to have that freedom when I pivot to be able to access my own weapons, or take his weapon, or deal with another opponent. You know, all those things are important in this moment, right? So if I'm busy trying to manipulate or grapple, then I get trapped, you know. I trap myself by grappling, right? So yeah, that's the idea. It looked like you had that idea. I just wanted you to feel it there.
No, it makes a big difference.
Okay.
No, I think I could work at it.
Yeah. It takes a while.
Can you check this out and see what I'm
Yeah.
So it's like, is this the...
You want to have a freedom in this space, even though like he's grabbed you and you're grappling. That feels like a moment where there's not much freedom. Like grappling sometimes feels that way. Like if you're trapped or you're doing it with muscle, but you should have the opposite feeling here. You should feel like you can do anything and you're free. And he's the one that's trapped. Like he's trapping himself by grabbing a hold of you. Okay, that's the feeling you want to try to cultivate, and it's difficult. But if you pivot at the right spot, you can get it. Can I borrow you there? So as I do this pivot here, you see all this freedom. It's so light, okay? And now if I want to, I can go back to the feeling of the kata. Okay? That's that feeling of ryote gake, that throw, right? So it's in here, it's so light. Okay? I can just take his elbow here. Okay.
Thanks for letting that arm go.
Yeah. Yeah, the arm can turn into a break there, yeah. Do you guys understand what I'm doing here? Like the floating feeling there? Here. So you have this pivot, but you're not attached to anything. You okay there?
I'm good. Are you?
Yeah. So when you do that throw, like you have to be careful because they might cling on your back or something. Yeah.
My clinger.
I think you were protecting yourself, you know, which is natural. You guys understand how to enter in that space? Let's do one more. Here. So here's the space where I can create stuff. Yeah. Somebody keeps taking my microphone. Yeah. Here you can just do a control, and he wanted to get away, but it just gets worse.
I just wanted to lay down, take a nap.
Yeah. So explore that moment where you can release and change. Yeah. And it can turn into a lot of different things. I only showed one solution, but there's many. So there's many solutions there, right? I showed that one solution, but it could be some other solution. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't have to be that big throw. You okay? You guys maybe didn't see, but he got like 2 or 3 strikes on the way down. Yeah.
We didn't see anything. Just fell.
Yeah, he grabbed the guy and then he fell over. Yeah. So try this feeling. See if you can enter the space that way without getting tangled up yourself. Okay? Go ahead. I don't know that I was completely clear here, and I want to talk about it in a way that is connected to what Sensei's been doing. So I come here, right, and this hand is kind of anchored at this wrist. Okay? So even though I pivot in here, this hand kind of stays anchored at that wrist. Right? But the way I'm changing this now is I'm letting loose from that anchor and shifting to the elbow. Okay? Soke, for the past couple years, and including this year, he's been talking a lot about this idea of skipping stones across water. And I wrote about it on my blog a long time ago, like talking about Ida, which is the moments in between the skips. Okay, so this is, you're taking advantage of a moment as you pivot in between. Okay, so once more. So I pick this up as I pivot. See how I switched here? There's a lock here maybe, but then just at the elbow. Okay, so here I'm pivoting. I don't stay anchored on this wrist. I float. Okay. So by floating from one point to the next, it destroys him. Yeah, I did that. That time I did it with strikes. Okay, once more. See how scared he is there? That kind of feeling, yeah. See how that just floats there? And then I can keep floating to different points, right? So I don't get stuck on one point. I can keep changing as the moment dictates, you know, depending on the response of the guy, you know, because everybody reacts differently. So, you know, you have this grab here and then you're there, see? This can stay here, it can change, you can turn for your throw, you can add a kick, you know, all these things. This starts to get more advanced, and so it's a little bit more free form, right? When you do that skip, you can't just completely release. So I'm going here, but I don't just release like this, because now I'm just as bad shape as him. Like, and he's free to attack me, and I don't really have anything. So when I'm releasing, it's released, but it's connected. So the way Sensei always says, he says this word tsunagari, which means like connection. Maintain that connection. Don't sever it. Okay, and so when you think about a skipping stone, it's hitting the water and flying to the next place on the water, but there's a connection of its momentum, right? And so there's a thread that's carrying the stone all the way through. Okay, it doesn't, that connection is not broken. It makes contact with the water, and that feels like it might be broken to the water, but for the stone, it's never broken. And so in this case, I'm the stone and he's the water, right? So, one more time. So, as I release there, it's connected to him. It stays connected. You see how that that is moving Robert. Okay. So as it releases, it goes from one point to the next, right? And each point breaks him down a little bit more. Did you feel that? So it's important when you, just because you're letting go of this lock, you're not letting go of the entirety of the kukan or your opponent. They're trapped within that space. Okay? And so you keep that connection going. This is something Soke has been talking a lot about for the past few years, and it's an important lesson. It's a little bit advanced, but if you can get it, it'll help a lot. Okay? So try a few more with that idea. So this time I'm over the top this way. You notice his elbow, okay? It's covering against that other hand. He came with a punch, but it could be a grab still, okay? So see, this elbow is on that other hand, okay? Okay, somebody else? We can still work off the grab, okay?
From a punch or a grab?
Grab.
Grab?
Yep. See this elbow here? Okay. This elbow kind of floats depending on where that hand is. So if that hand starts to drop down, you might drop that down. Okay. If it starts to go up, you might bring it up. But he's going for a double lapel grab here, so it runs right into the elbow. Okay. So through this connection, I've got him all locked up here between the fingers and the jaw. Yeah. You okay there?
Yeah, I'm good.
You got a little fish hook too, maybe.
Definitely the fingers I was concerned about.
Let's do one more. So he's coming with his grab. You see how that catches all of this stuff. Okay, but don't focus on trying to do anything to these fingers or to these arms. This is just here in the space. Okay, and then it can change to other things. So you guys probably couldn't tell what threw him, but you felt it. So what?
I couldn't tell what threw me either.
It was.
I was like, where am I?
It was a strike to koi that threw him. Okay. So it's through the connection that happens. It's not. I wasn't focused on the hands or the fingers. All right. Let's do somebody else. So it's just here in the space, yeah. So what threw you? Yeah, so nothing, I didn't do any one specific thing to throw him. It was the entirety of the kukan. And Soke, when I was there in March in Japan, he was throwing people. He said he was doing it with the kukan. He threw people with the space. Okay? And I heard that and I was like, what? You know, I've heard him say that before, but it's very confusing. And so then he came and did it on me, and I'm like, oh yeah, he threw me with the space. But it's very hard to teach, and it's maybe hard to do if you're not ready for it. But you have to be able to take different points within the kukan and connect one to the other, kind of like stringing together a net. He's likened it to a net in the past, these koshi. But also the idea of skipping a stone, yeah. So right now you want to capture him before he's even grabbed you. Okay, so see if you can get that feeling. If you're late, you can just do the regular kata, you know. Yeah, more violence, that always works.
More violence.
Here, watch. So you're coming for your grab, and I just guard like this. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was nice. That'll do it.
Yeah, those little kicks help, you know.